Hello, welcome back to Kaiserreich. I haven't recorded in a couple of days. I was engaged in the national pastime, and that sort of took the wind out of me for the day after, as it sometimes can. However, I'm now excited to get back into the recording, and also, Winston Churchill has released a very intriguing book. British politician, former Lord of the Admiralty, Winston Churchill has published a new book, part of an emerging genre known as alternate history and concerning the Great War. The story takes the perspective of a young British soldier returning from a victorious Gallipoli campaign, amid a world radically different from our own. In this timeline, Theodore Roosevelt and his Bull Moose Party won the 1912 American presidential elections, leading to an American entry in the Weltkrieg and an Entente victory. So, this is all about how a man called Adam Dressler took control over a German Workers' Party following a very extreme national populist ideology, which has ideas of neo-paganism called Valkism. In this event, it's called People's Socialism. So he has created this new Reich, this Führerreich. You can probably tell that this is a direct analogy to the real world happenings with Adolf Hitler and his NSDAP, National Socialist German Workers' Party and stuff like that. So this is an alternate history book written in an alternate history world that's kind of closer to the real world in some ways, and some ways very much not. If you want to know more about this, you should check out my quick look on the Führerreich mod, or you should check out my playthrough as Falkist, Third Reich, or Deutsches Reich, Germany, in that mod. It's an excellent mod based on this alternate history event. It's weird how there's like an alternate history mod with its own alternate history mod. We're getting pushed back out of Cleveland, and we don't really have a lot of troops that can respond to that. Well, these guys can respond to it, but they're not doing it right now because they're needed elsewhere. We need like specific troops that we can move around, and I answered my own question. That we can move around quickly to important places where they might be needed, such as motorized. So I'm gonna send them over. God, some of these songs have the lowest audio quality imaginable. So we've got Virginia now. Where do we need them? We could... Probably don't need them in New England. We could use them on... Probably gonna have to put them on Delaware, which is called the Delaware Detachment, but it is the strength of an entire army at the moment. Yeah, we need more troops on this point here in order to actually effect a full encirclement again. So, the Hellenic Socialist Republic declared war on Greece. That's probably not gonna last long because it's tiny and up here in the mountains. I mean, this can win. The Socialist Republic can win with the correct use of volunteers from some of the Socialist bloc here. Which, in fact, the Socialist bloc is actually... I kept hitting the wrong keybinds, but the Socialist bloc is actually quite formidable, and so is... I mean, it's the usual suspects, including Norway, and possibly, judging by the results here, possibly the CNTFAI, though these can't really go any way at the moment, or either way. The Reichspakt, however, is of course much more formidable, with all of its constituent nations still... Albania declared war on Serbia, okay. Still being, Wait, hold on. That means, the Donau-Adria-Bund gets involved in another war in the Balkans. The Austrians are getting involved in a war against Serbia, which means that the Belgrade Pact and the Donau-Adria-Bund are now at war. Huh. Well, what I was gonna say was, they have all of their, normal constituent members, but they also have Sweden and Finland, which creates a very good bulwark against the Russian Republic, because they have to fight through some very horrible terrain to fight through, as well as fight through, two nations here who are small, but nothing to like to scoff at. A Russian invasion of Finland generally takes a long time. Let's see. Yeah, we still have technically these the Delaware detachments are still moving into position, though we are pushing forwards. We are getting or making gains. We just need more units on exactly this point here, which is why we need some of those like detachments that we can move around. Wondering when do we? Okay, it's gonna take a while because we're running out of equipment because of all these assaults. Let's say when do we get our next batch of recruits? It's gonna take a while. I'm gonna cut some of them off, even though they are on low priority here for supplies. They are still draining supplies that we can use elsewhere. Motorized is taking quite a cumbersome route, but that's fine, I guess, because they already like confirmed the route and then the front line shifted, but the AI doesn't recalculate the routes, because if all the AI was constantly recalculating every route, you would end up with a situation like in Dwarf Fortress with its pathing, if you've ever played that game, where every single dwarf, every single unit on the map constantly tries to like recalculate its pathing. That would have ground this game to a halt. There we go. I was about to say, there is no reason why he shouldn't be attacking that right now. Because in doing so, he helps these guys defend, technically. Oh, we are getting pushed back. He should also be attacking that, just to help out. See, we must be able to, yeah, we can shift these guys quite a lot, actually. Like so. And then shift these guys up here a bit, so that we can have more troops on this central push here. Probably have to, the front line is actually fine. I'm cool with them taking that approach, fighting up north like this, cutting it off here. That's fine. Yeah, we need to just like spread these guys out a bit more. They're not actually... Oh! Creation of a sniper program. Albania has capitulated in uncertain times. I'm actually going to set up the state militias here to attack as well. Like so, that seems appropriate. Creation of a sniper program. With the harsh lessons in urban warfare we have been forced to learn, we've come to realize that our army is woefully unprepared to face a new danger of the battlefield. Enemy snipers. While snipers proved their usefulness during the Weltkrieg, the Army High Command had never seen any reason to expand upon it, as it was seen as a situational solution for the battlefields of Europe. However, fighting in the American mountains, cities, and forests have proved not only that they were wrong, but we have paid the price dearly for it. As we lack the means to counteract enemy sniper operations, let alone send off snipers of our own to eliminate high-value targets, as such, a proposal has reached High Command to kickstart one similar to the sniper training that Canadians put their snipers through in the Weltkrieg. And there needs to be written a bit differently. So the proposal passes or the proposal is shut down. I don't see any obvious results, but why shouldn't we have a sniper program? The proposal passes, of course. And now we've got some Connecticut militias. Let's assign them to... you know what? Let's just put them in the state militia so we get more people on this wider line that we set up. And let's start up the attack plan, just because there's not a lot of activity on this part of the line. We did go to service by requirement, which means we should be gaining more manpower, but we are still very low. Makes me a bit worried. You know what? I'm gonna do police crackdown because it's going to increase the stability, hopefully a bit over 50%. With the idea being that the stability here right now is giving us a -4% factory output. We're going to have a temporary -5% on top of that, but in the end we're going to get rid of that -4%. Which I think that -4% is going to last for a much longer time than the temporary minus, 6 or 7%, however, depending on however the math checks out, if they apply the percentage on top of the other percentage or to the same number but after each other. Regimental combat teams, done. Argentine Commune has joined the 3rd Internationale. Now we have a more global potential conflict here. I'm still kind of weirded out by the fact that we can't get another research slot, but I'm guessing it makes sense. Let's do the Air Force. Guys, I believe they do have some here that give us lowered production cost. There we go, yep. LMA reform plan. Strategic bomber, heavy fighter. Or fighter. Oh, okay, this one is just so much better, though. This one gives us... Okay, this one gives us a hefty production cost, reduction on very, very expensive to produce planes. But this one gives us that same, or a weaker reduction, but to planes that we'll create way more of. Don't need war support, we don't need this stuff. I think we'll have to use the Silver Legion support at this point, because we'll get some more guns, we'll get some more manpower, and we'll get that recovery rate in training time. Actually, hold on, we'll wait until we have the guns, I think, because 1,500 guns isn't going to be enough for all of this stuff. Yeah, we're lacking 5,405 just on that production order there, so we need way more. Oh yeah. Can we ask some people here for some guns, maybe? I can't request a Lend-Lease, right? Oh. They will accept. Wait, hold on. They have none of those in storage. Then... Or do we not have any of those in storage? I'm kind of confused by that sometimes. That should already be the daily... Okay, that's a lot of guns per day. We should already have that that sort of Lend-Lease coming in. Where do we see our... to go to diplomacy, right? It's always... there we go, diplomacy. Oh my god, it's always so messy. There we go, diplomacy. Is supported by Lend-Lease from... Oh, okay, only one nation. So we can probably look for even more nations that will provide us with a Lend-Lease. The Russians were supporting our enemies for some reason, so they probably won't be giving us that. Request Lend-Lease. They will not accept. Alright, who else would be friendly to our cause here? Probably not the Canadians, because they're supporting the PSA, right? I'm guessing there won't be a lot of... Oh, the Australasian Guard has taken over Australasia. There probably won't be a lot of people who will be willing to give us anything here. Not even Goering. The Australasian Confederation has been couped by Thomas Blamey. Australasian Guard, a group of right-wing authoritarians who have long criticized the Australasian government for not going far enough in its suppression of syndicalism, and who lost in the recent electoral bid by a fair margin, have seized control of the government. Led by Field Marshal Thomas Blamey, the new government immediately promised that the Australasian Confederation would do whatever it took to stamp out syndicalism within Australasia. Damn. Okay, so we've actually got the encirclement again. Provided, you know, in the style of the bootleggers, they don't actually send alcohol over here during winter. So we might be able to do something funky here. Oh, fucking hell. Let's see. Move that front line down here a little bit. We might be we might be better off just creating a field marshal front line so that we can edit the front line easier, but in a more easy fashion. That's not a way to phrase that. In a fashion that is a bit more more organized and a bit easier to to do on the fly. Yeah, this stuff. At this point, this is falling like dominoes. Essentially, this is the first domino, and then all this stuff is just going to collapse gradually. In the meantime, this stuff is the risky stuff, because you know, the more we push out this way, the longer the front line grows, and the easier the opportunity for a breakthrough by the enemy becomes. Of course, that's not a problem on the far west here. We're pushing towards Los Angeles and California and stuff, because we have a doubled line there. In fact, we can probably reduce this line by a fair margin at the moment, because the enemy here should not be powerful enough to repel our, you know, full 24 division army of actual professional soldiers. So Wayland Yutani or LeMay. Let's see. So we get this stuff anyways, and but here we get a tactical bomber, a close air support plane, and we get a much more powerful fighters. Oh, sorry, no, much more powerful air superiority defense, as well as some oh, actually, this actually makes the oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I was about to say this makes this thing on par with this one, but you also have the Cult of Aviation here, which you can get on the LeMay reform plan. I'm actually not quite sure. We might want to go for the LeMay plan, because we probably will be doing quite a lot of bombing at long range with strategic bombers, considering our geographical situation right now. Let's go back to, actually, let's have a look, and yes, let's go back to construction repair right the fuck now. Where is it? There it is. Or, sorry, construction repair, not engineering. I'm honestly not quite sure yet which one to go for. I was kind of, I was feeling the Wayland one a lot more, but now I'm kind of not so sure anymore. Let's see, let's have him try to help attacking that way, or help by attacking that way. We'll have to remove that front line at some point. We can probably honestly do it now. We'll try to get the motorized to push for Detroit, because we want to take Chicago, of course, but we also need to hold Detroit, because that's also a major victory point. Fucking Bangor, Maine. That's a good name for a town. Bangor, Maine. The extra carabiners should have done a lot towards the or should have done a lot for the supply situation, I think. Yeah, you can see it's going down. The deficit is going down because we're gaining like 1,600 guns per day, I think. It should be going down. Might be going back up again. The Germans, of course, can run out of guns as well. Which, you know, it would be kind of bad if they sent all their guns to us in Lend-Lease, and then they get involved in the Commune of France, and we've got their guns. I don't know how that works. Do they get sent back? Because, I mean, it is a Lend-Lease, right? With the idea being they're, you know, meant to get them back after the war, right? Provided, you know, some of them are still usable by that point. I don't know. Best admit, think I know far too little about the historical Lend-Lease, like the American Lend-Lease to the Soviet Union, for example. Oh my god, look at the just extreme lack of tanks. We probably don't even need to focus on creating any tanks, because it's going to take so long before we can actually get any up and rolling. The war's going to be over before the tanks roll out of the factories, off the production lines. Oh boy. That's a spicy encirclement. Let's remove these guys from all this and just get them all focused on pushing up New England. And let's redraw the front line so that it's actually focused on the Canadian border way up here. And we still got air superiority over here. Do you have any planes we don't need anywhere? Yes, we do. We don't need any of these planes over here right now. Let's send them this way. And let's see, these guys, we can send them out. Actually, there's basically no airports over there, so guess we'll send them up to New England. And these guys, for air superiority, we'll send them here as well. That should hopefully... Actually, yeah, they retreated. Where did they... Oh, they might have just sent them back because they realized they can't get the air superiority. Okay, the CNTFAI have lost. So falls the heart of Old Catalonia, which means that the Carlists have won, which means that they might be on the side of the Germans. Still, don't understand what's going on with this. I think it might be because, I think it might be because it might be because of a hotfix maybe, and I started the save before the hotfix. I don't know. There's yeah, there's something here as well. The West Indies Federation controlling a piece of like this Chamdo or whatever. Which obviously is not meant to be happening. Like a piece of Bhutan or like the National Protection Alliance. So that might be related to that. I think it probably is. Just a bug as a result of the hotfix. Let's see, do we... Yeah, I think we should shift all these guys. Let's wait until this collapses a bit more, and then let's shift the Minutemen a bit more west, so that we can focus them on taking Michigan, and then we can have these state militias here try to focus a bit more westwards this way. Push past Chicago and further up north, because they're not very elite troops. They're very all-purpose, like, holding troops, so I'm thinking we're just going to have them push into the places with wide fronts, sort of reduce this front a bit, and then extend them that way. And, yeah, that way everything's gonna, like, keep rolling at a reasonable speed, and slowly but surely collapse. Pero del Valle, or del Valle, I think it's del Valle. Wounded. Unfortunate. Happens all the time, though. Also, if you notice anything like changing with the schedule or with the way ads work on the channel, I would like to refer you to my recent channel update, where I talk about it, but the long and short of it is that I was approved for monetization. Essentially, I was accepted into the YouTube partner program, which means that... Let's see, where's the one that gives repair speed? There we go. Which means that I start earning a meager amount of income from my videos. It's very small. But that also means that, I mean, I don't get any money from these videos, because these videos contain copyrighted like music. And that's fine, because the money wouldn't be a lot anyways. But I'll be experimenting with ads and stuff, so you might see changes with that, so that I can find a balance and figure out what works and what doesn't. And also, I'll be experimenting with the schedule to the same end. Probably noticed I've released a few more Führerreich videos, because they don't contain the copyrighted music, so I wanted to sort of feel out how much money you get from those videos. And the only way to find that out is just to release them and see how much you get. Okay, now... Actually, we'll let these guys finish up first. Then we'll start, no, let's not. Let's do that. And then that. And let's just put a couple more of these on this side, because we don't need that many on this side. This is going to die anyways. Like, they're out of supplies. Unless they start bringing in supplies with, you know, with the airplanes over here. It's gonna fall. Also, I hope if we capture those air bases, do we get the planes? I mean, we get them at the end of the war, like, anyways, don't we? When the enemy capitulates, I think. Guys, we sure could use a bunch of those guns and airplanes for later. Because at the moment we have basically nothing. But yeah, also, if I decide that the music mod becomes more trouble than it's worth, like if I start to become sick of the music, which some of the songs I've, you know, you've noticed, I've gotten sick of some of the American songs, because they play a lot. If I start to get sick of that, I might change that stuff around a bit. For example, there is the worry that in the future, these videos, which have copyrighted content on them, can get manual copyright strikes by companies that might not have the platform or the creator's best interest in mind, which can in fact hurt the channel, which is much worse than me just like not getting the revenue. That's one of the worries that I'm sort of struggling with, but I'll don't worry, I'll find the balance myself. Oh, we almost reached Los Angeles here. That's actually awesome. I'll move him manually here, because if we do... Actually, no, we're not going to get an encirclement on San Diego that way. They don't have a lot of troops. I feel... Oh, never mind. They just moved someone in there. I was about to say, I feel safe and secure in moving there and then moving one guy here. But probably not. Start Lend-Lease. They want to send us even more guns. Yes, please. Oh boy, I didn't even have to, like, change the attack plan. They basically did exactly what I wanted them to. I'm being lazy, so I'm just setting up the attack plans here. I'm gonna put them over here later on. We're just gonna wait until these guys starve a little bit. When they run out of guns and stuff due to attrition, and then we'll attack them. There's really no need to rush these guys who are holding out here in upstate New York by Buffalo and stuff, in Pennsylvania. Don't know what towns are up here in Pennsylvania, but I mean there's Pittsburgh, of course. Is PA Pennsylvania or is that Philadelphia? Wait, is Philadelphia even a state? Dude, I got no idea. Nope, it probably isn't. Then PA is Pennsylvania. Dude, American states and stuff, it's confusing as hell to a European. Because, like, you guys treat them kind of like countries in the sense, in the, you know, the way you conceptualize them, right? Like, traveling from New Mexico to Oregon, Oregon, it's like, culture is different, the food's probably different, etc., etc. This is not gonna get done in any way, like, anytime soon. We're not gonna get a lot of Thompsons on the front lines, I don't think. But yeah, so in Europe, we don't really, at least not someone like me from a small country like Norway, even though it looks large on the map. That's just because of the Mercator projection messing with your brain. But yeah, Polish Chicago, excellent. We don't conceptualize things like that inside of countries, so like For us, we just see, oh yeah, that's the United States. A lot of Europeans don't know the individual states. In the sense that a lot of Europeans, and possibly I would also say a lot of Americans, probably don't know the individual provinces in Canada. Collapse of the American syndicates. Oh! Wait. It appears that the syndicate government is on its last legs in the American Civil War. Already most of its land have been swallowed up by the American Union State, hell yeah dude, and other American factions, and what is left is but the last remnants of its army, now demoralized and suffering from mass desertions, but holding out against all hope that a miracle might save them. Well, do we see a capitulation? Please, because, yep, there we go. That way I don't actually have to fight the ones in Buffalo, that's very good. Yes, boy. Oh my god. So, you know how I got fucked that one time by the peace deal? Well, the Pacific States just got fucked as well. Well, that being said, we're at the 30-minute mark. We have defeated the Command Syndicates of America, and with that I want to say thank you so much for watching. This is the end of the episode, which means I'm going to launch into my end of episode spiel. You can find Twitter, Discord, Twitch, and Patreon in the description down below. I mentioned I got monetized on YouTube. I don't make any meaningful amount of money on that, so if you do want to support me, the best way to do so is on Patreon. $1 and above, you can choose however little or however much you want to give. You know, with the minimum, of course, being $1. And that is about it. Thank you again so much for watching. I told you we were gonna win. Goodbye.